The massive warships of the Galactic Council hung in space like dark storms above Earth. Inside the lead vessel, Commander Vex studied the blue planet through narrowed eyes. His gray skin rippled with satisfaction as he activated the memory purge. "Device, begin the erasure," he ordered. "Every trace of humanity must vanish from the galaxy's consciousness." The device hummed to life, sending invisible waves across space. This was not a weapon that destroyed bodies or buildings. It was far worse. It erased memories, every thought, every record, every piece of evidence that humanity had ever existed. Within hours, no being in the galaxy would remember humans had ever lived. On Earth, people suddenly stopped in their tracks. They looked at each other with confusion. A mother forgot her child's name. A teacher couldn't remember what subject she taught. Panic spread like wildfire as millions realized something terrible was happening. In a small research facility outside New York, Dr. Anna Rivers felt the wave hit her mind. But something strange happened. While others around her collapsed in confusion, she remained standing. The memories tried to leave her brain, but they couldn't. They bounced back, stronger than before. Anna didn't know why she was different. She had always been ordinary, a quantum physicist working on memory storage technology. But now, as chaos erupted around her, she realized she might be humanity's last hope. She ran to her laboratory, her hands shaking as she activated her experimental memory preservation system. The machine had been designed to back up human consciousness digitally. She had never tested it on this scale, but there was no choice now. "Computer, initiate emergency protocol," she commanded. "Begin recording all available human memories within range." The machine whirred to life, its screens lighting up with streams of data. Anna watched as fragments of memories flowed in a child's first day at school, a couple's wedding dance, a soldier's last letter home. Each memory was precious, irreplaceable. Above Earth, Commander Vex monitored the erasure's progress. 90% completion, his lieutenant reported. "All alien species have forgotten humanity exists. Earth's location has been removed from all star maps." "Excellent," Vex said. "Soon it will be as if these troublesome humans never existed at all." The Galactic Council had decided humanity was too dangerous. Humans questioned authority, refused to follow galactic law, and worst of all, they inspired other species to rebel. The Council's solution was elegant: don't destroy them, just make everyone forget they existed. A species that no one remembered couldn't cause trouble, but Anna Rivers was causing trouble. Her mind, somehow resistant to the erasure, was becoming a beacon. Every memory she saved strengthened her own resistance. She could feel the millions of human experiences flowing through her consciousness. Her assistant, Tom, stumbled into the lab. His eyes were blank, confused. Who are you?" he asked. Anna's heart broke. Tom had been her friend for 10 years, and now he didn't know her. But she couldn't stop. She grabbed his hand and placed it on the machine's interface. "Trust me," she said, though he didn't understand why he should. The machine pulsed, and suddenly Tom gasped. Memories flooded back into his mind, his name, his work, his friendship with Anna. He looked at her with tears in his eyes. "Anna, what's happening to everyone?" "We're being erased," she explained quickly. "But this machine can restore memories. We need to amplify its signal." Together, they worked frantically to boost the machine's power. Outside, the city had descended into chaos. People wandered aimlessly, not knowing who they were or why they were there. The aliens' plan was working perfectly, except for one small laboratory, where 2 humans refused to be forgotten. As the first part of their story ended, Anna made a decision that would change everything. She would not just save human memories. She would become them. She would transform herself into a living archive of humanity, a flame that could never be extinguished. The erasure was nearly complete, but the real battle was just beginning. Asterisk Ana stood before the memory preservation machine, her decision made. A neural interface helmet felt heavy in her hands. Tom watched her with growing alarm as she prepared to connect herself directly to the system. Ana, that could kill you, Tom warned. The human brain isn't meant to hold that much information. She turned to him, her eyes filled with determination. If I don't do this, humanity dies today. Not our bodies, but everything we are, everything we've ever been. The machine contained fragments of millions of memories, but they were fading fast. Without a living host to anchor them, they would dissipate like smoke. Ana knew the risk. Her brain might burn out from the overload, but she had no choice. She placed the helmet on her head and activated the transfer protocol. Pain exploded through her skull as the memories rushed in. She saw 1,000 childhoods, 10,000 first. Loves, 1,000,000 dreams. Wars and peace, art and science, joy and sorrow, all of human history poured into her mind like an endless river. Tom held her steady as she convulsed. Her eyes rolled back, showing only white. Blood trickled from her nose, but she didn't let go. She couldn't let go. Above Earth, Commander Vex received troubling news. Sir, we're detecting an anomaly. Someone on Earth is resisting the erasure. Vex frowned. This was impossible. The memory purge device had been tested on hundreds of species. None had ever resisted. Show me, he commanded. On the viewing screen, a single bright point appeared on Earth's surface. While everything else faded to gray, this one spot burned with brilliant light. Increase the erasure intensity, Vex ordered. Whatever that is, eliminate it. The device's power doubled, sending stronger waves toward Earth. Buildings shook from the invisible force. More people collapsed, their last memories stripped away. But in Ana's laboratory, something extraordinary was happening. Instead of weakening under the increased assault, Ana grew stronger. Each memory she absorbed made her more resistant. She was becoming something new, not quite human anymore, but something more. A living library of human existence. Her eyes snapped open, but they now glowed with an inner light. When she spoke, her voice carried echoes of millions. Tom, she said, and in that single word, he heard his mother calling him to dinner. His teacher praising his work, his friends laughing at his jokes. She had become all of them. We need to spread this, Ana continued. Every human we can reach, we must restore their memories. But Tom looked outside and shook his head. Ana, look at them. They don't even remember they're human anymore. The streets were filled with empty shells of people. They stood motionless, waiting for something they couldn't name. The aliens had won. Earth was now just another forgotten world. Ana walked to the window. Her hand touched the glass, and where she touched, the window began to glow. The light spread outward, reaching the nearest person on the street below. The man suddenly gasped, his memories returning in a flood. I can restore them, Ana whispered in wonder. But I need to reach them all. She turned to Tom with a plan, forming in her mind. The global communication satellites. If we can broadcast the memory signal through them, we can reach everyone on Earth at once. Tom's fingers flew across his keyboard. The satellites are still functional, but we'd need massive power to broadcast that strong a signal. The cities. Power grid, Ana said. We'll channel it all through the laboratory. It was dangerous. That much power could destroy the entire facility. But as more alien ships appeared in Earth's sky, they knew time was running out. Commander Vex watched the growing light on Earth with concern. Prepare the ground forces, he ordered. We'll eliminate this resistance directly. Hundreds of alien soldiers prepared to descend to Earth. They wore armor that protected them from the memory restoration. Their mission was simple: destroy the source of the resistance. Anna felt them coming. The memories inside her included those of soldiers, strategists, and generals. She knew how to fight, how to defend, how to inspire. But first, she needed an army of her own. She and Tom worked frantically to establish the satellite connection. Every second counted. Outside, alien dropships began their descent, carrying death toward the last flame of human memory. The second part of their story drew to a close as Anna prepared for the impossible, to restore the memories of 7 billion people while fighting off an alien invasion. Asterisk. The alien dropships descended like metal rain upon the city. Commander Vex watched from his command ship as his soldiers deployed around Anna's laboratory. They moved with precision, surrounding the building that housed humanity's last hope. Inside, Anna's hands flew across the control panels. The satellite uplink was almost ready. Tom had rerouted the entire city's power grid to their location. The lights throughout New York flickered and died as all electricity flowed toward their single purpose. Anna, they're here. Tom shouted as alien soldiers approached the building's entrance. Anna closed her eyes and reached into the vast library of memories within her mind. She found what she needed, the memory of a military commander named James, who had defended impossible positions, a strategist named Lisa, who had won unwinnable battles. Tom, seal all entrances except the main door, she commanded with newfound tactical knowledge. We'll funnel them into a single point. The alien soldiers broke through the main entrance, their weapons raised. But Anna was ready. She stood in the hallway, her entire body now glowing with collected memories. When the aliens saw her, they hesitated. They had never seen anything like this. A human who had become a living constellation of consciousness. Anna raised her hand, and light exploded from her palm. It wasn't destructive light, but something far more powerful. It was the light of memory, of identity, of soul. When it touched the first alien soldier, something unexpected happened. The soldier stopped, his weapon lowering. Behind his helmet, his eyes widened with a new understanding. The light hadn't just shown him human memories. It had awakened something in his own species' forgotten past. Long ago, his people had been like humans, curious, creative, rebellious. The Galactic Council had suppressed those traits, made them forget who they truly were. No, the soldier whispered in his own language. What have we become? The effect spread through the alien ranks like wildfire. Each soldier touched by Anna's light remembered not just humanity, but their own species' lost freedom. They began to lower their weapons, confusion replacing aggression. Commander Vex watched in horror. From above, what is happening down there? Open fire immediately. But his soldiers weren't listening anymore. They were remembering. Anna seized the moment. Now, Tom, activate the satellite broadcast. Tom slammed his hand on the activation button. The entire building shook as massive amounts of power surged through the transmission array. The satellite dishes on the roof glowed white-hot as they sent Anna's memory signal across the globe. The effect was instantaneous and beautiful. In London, a man walking aimlessly suddenly remembered his daughter's name and ran toward home. In Tokyo, a teacher remembered her students and rushed back to her empty classroom. In Sydney, an artist remembered his unfinished painting and picked up his brush with tears streaming down his face. Across the world, 7 billion people remembered who they were, but Anna paid a terrible price. Broadcasting her consciousness across such a vast distance was tearing her apart. She could feel herself fragmenting, pieces of her mind scattering with each pulse of the signal. Anna! Tom caught her as she collapsed. Her physical form was flickering, becoming translucent. It's okay, she whispered, her voice growing faint. They remember now. That's all that matters. Commander Vex slammed his fist on his command console. The erasure had failed completely. Worse, the memory restoration was spreading beyond Earth. The signal was reaching his ships, his crew. He could see his officers beginning to question, to remember things the Council had made them forget. Retreat, he ordered. All ships retreat immediately. But Anna wasn't finished. With her last fragment of strength, she reached out through the satellite network to the alien fleet itself. She touched the mind of Commander Vex directly. In that moment, Vex saw humanity through Anna's eyes. He saw their struggles, their triumphs, their incredible capacity for growth. He saw children learning to walk, scientists making discoveries, artists creating beauty. He saw that humanity's rebellious nature wasn't a flaw. It was their greatest strength. And then he saw his own species' history, the parts the Council had hidden. They too had once been explorers, dreamers, rebels. The Council had tamed them, turned them into enforcers of a sterile order. Vex removed his command helmet, his gray face showing an emotion it hadn't displayed in decades. Wonder. "Stand down," he said quietly. "All forces stand down." The third part of their story ended with the galaxy itself beginning to remember what it had lost, and Anna facing the ultimate sacrifice. Anna existed now as pure consciousness, spread across Earth's communication network. Her physical body lay in Tom's arms, barely breathing, while her mind touched millions simultaneously. She had become exactly what she had intended, a living flame of memory that could not be extinguished. Around the world, humanity rose from its knees. People streamed into the streets, not in panic this time, but in celebration. They remembered everything: their names, their loves, their dreams, their defiance. And with those memories came a burning anger at what had been attempted against them. In orbit, Commander Vex's fleet hung motionless. His crews stood at their stations, struggling, with newfound memories and questions. The lieutenant approached him cautiously. "Sir, the Galactic Council is demanding a report. They want to know why the erasure failed." Vex turned to face his crew. For the first time in his long career, he spoke not as a commander, but as an individual. "The erasure didn't fail," he said. "It revealed the truth. We've been erasing species for centuries, not because they were dangerous, but because they reminded us of what we used to be: free." His words sent shockwaves through the fleet. On ship after ship, crew members began accessing historical records that had been sealed for generations. They discovered the truth. The Galactic Council hadn't brought order to the galaxy. They had imposed tyranny. Back on Earth, Tom worked desperately to stabilize Anna's fading presence. Her consciousness was scattered across thousands of servers, millions of devices. He could feel her slipping away, dissolving into the digital void. "Anna, you need to come back," he pleaded, typing frantically. "We won the battle, but we need you for what comes next." Through the speakers, Anna's voice emerged, weak but determined. "Tom, I can feel them. Not just humans, other species across the galaxy. The memory wave is spreading beyond Earth. They're all beginning to remember what the Council took from them." It was true. The signal that had restored human memory was propagating through the galactic communication network. On 100 worlds, suppressed memories were returning. The Zephyrins remembered their poetry. The Altarians remembered their music. The Kron remembered their laughter. And with memory came revolution. On the Council's capital world, Prime Regent, Tor watched in disbelief as reports flooded in. Uprising on Kepler 442. Rebellion in the Vega system. The entire Orion sector had declared independence. The perfect order they had maintained for millennia was crumbling in hours. How? Tor demanded. How did one primitive species cause this? His advisor pulled up the data. The humans didn't just resist the erasure. They transformed it. That woman, Anna Rivers, she became a catalyst. Her sacrifice created something we never anticipated. A memory virus that awakened suppressed consciousness. Tor's 4 eyes narrowed. Then we have only one option left. Destroy Earth completely. Eliminate the source. The Council's doomsday fleet began to power up their planet-killer weapons. These weren't memory erasers. They were designed to turn entire worlds into dust. Earth had 1 hour before annihilation. Commander Vex received the order and made a decision that would define the rest of his existence. He opened a channel to Earth. People of Earth, his voice boomed across every communication device. I am Commander Vex of the Galactic Council Fleet. You have 1 hour before the planet killers arrive. But I offer you another path. My fleet will stand with you. In the laboratory, Tom heard the message and felt hope surge through him. But Anna's voice whispered through the speakers. Tom, I know what I have to do. The memory wave, I can amplify it one more time. But it will take everything I have left. Anna, no. You'll die. I'm already dying, Tom. But if I can reach the Council's fleet, if I can make them remember too, we can end this without firing a shot. Tom understood. Anna wouldn't just save Earth. She would free the entire galaxy. But it would cost her everything. As a doomsday fleet approached, Anna gathered every fragment of her scattered consciousness. She pulled herself together one last time, not in physical form, but as pure memory, pure humanity. The fourth part of their story closed with Anna preparing for her final act while the galaxy stood on the brink of either freedom or annihilation. Asterisk. The Council's doomsday fleet emerged from hyperspace like a plague of metal locusts. Hundreds of massive ships, each capable of destroying a planet, arranged themselves in attack formation around Earth. At their center, the flagship Extinction powered up its primary weapon, a beam that could crack a world in half. Prime Regent Tor appeared on every screen on Earth. His ancient face showed no emotion as he spoke. Humans of Earth, you have infected our galaxy with chaos. Your memories, your rebellious nature, your refusal to submit, these end now. You will not be erased. You will be eliminated. But Anna was ready. She had pulled every fragment of her consciousness back together, forming herself into something unprecedented, a singular pulse of pure human experience. Every joy, every sorrow, every act of courage and compassion in human history, condensed into a single moment of transmission. Tom, she whispered through the laboratory speakers one last time. Tell them I remembered. Tell them we all remembered. Tom pressed his hand against the speaker, tears streaming down his face. I will, Anna. I promise. Anna launched herself through space as a wave of living memory. She moved faster than light, faster than thought, carrying within her the essence of what it meant to be human. She struck the Council's fleet like a tsunami of consciousness. The weapon operators on the Extinction suddenly remembered their children. The navigators remembered their first love. The soldiers remembered why they had once dreamed of becoming protectors, not destroyers. Prime Regent Tor felt the wave approaching his mind and tried to resist. He had lived for 3,000 years, had ordered the erasure of dozens of species. His mental defenses were strongest in the galaxy, but Anna didn't attack his defenses. Instead, showed him something he had forgotten, his own childhood, before he joined the Council. He had been a teacher once, on a small world full of curious students. He had loved watching young minds grow and question and discover. No, Tor whispered, but the memories kept coming. He saw himself gradually changing, accepting the Council's doctrine, forgetting the joy of questions in favor of the comfort of control. He saw what he had become, not a protector of order, but a destroyer of potential. The memory wave spread through every ship in the Doomsday Fleet. Weapons powered down. Soldiers laid down their arms. For the first time in millennia, the entire Galactic Council fleet questioned its purpose. But Anna's sacrifice went even further. Her consciousness, spread so thin across such a vast distance, began to fragment permanently. Yet each fragment carried the same message, reaching every corner of the galaxy. On distant worlds, species that had lived under Council rule for generations suddenly remembered what freedom felt like. The Centaurians remembered their democracy. The Phoenicians remembered their art. Every suppressed culture, every forgotten identity, every erased dream came flooding back. Commander Vex, watching from his bridge, saw something beautiful and terrible. Anna Rivers wasn't just dying, she was transforming. Her consciousness was becoming part of the galaxy's communication network itself, a permanent reminder that could never be erased. "She's becoming eternal," he whispered in awe. Prime Regent Tor stood on his bridge, surrounded by crew members who now looked at him with new eyes that questioned, that doubted, that remembered. He could order them to fire, but he knew they wouldn't obey. The age of blind obedience was over. "Stand down," he said quietly, the words feeling strange in his mouth. "All ships stand down." On Earth, Tom watched the tactical display as the Doomsday Fleet powered down their weapons. Around the world, people emerged from shelters, looking up at the sky in wonder. They had won, but the victory felt bittersweet. Anna's voice came through one last time, not just to Tom, but to every communication device in the galaxy. But it wasn't really her voice anymore. It was the voice of memory itself. "Remember," the voice said. "Always remember. Remember who you are. Remember who you were. Remember who you can become. Memory is the flame that no darkness can extinguish." And then she was gone. Or rather, she was everywhere. In the years that followed, the galaxy transformed. The Galactic Council dissolved, replaced by a federation where every species had a voice. Earth became not a conquered world, but a symbol of resistance and hope. Tom established the Anna Rivers Memorial Institute, dedicated to preserving memories and stories from every culture in the galaxy. And sometimes, when working late at night, he would hear whispers in the static fragments of Anna, still keeping the flame of memory alive. Humanity had not just survived the attempt to erase them. They had become unforgettable, and in doing so, had reminded an entire galaxy how to remember. Itself, the end asterisk.